Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Q News. I'm Alex Gibson.
And I'm Drew Lohman. No winner has been declared in the United States presidential race, and votes are still being counted.
Millions of Americans are voting by mail due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Due to postal delays and rejected ballots, the decision process is taking longer than past elections. The mail-in ballots are expected to favor Biden, whose campaign encouraged Democrats to vote early, while in-person votes on Election Day may have given Trump an advantage. The Trump campaign requested a recount in Wisconsin on Wednesday. Candidates may request a recount if they're within 1% of the winner's total. While election officials were concerned with the voting during a pandemic, battleground states have reported a smooth process. High Point University is giving students the opportunity to vote by providing shuttles to polling sites. Shuttles started running from the R.G. Wannick Center at 1 p.m. on Election Day and continue to run until 5:30 p.m. The university created a website link called HPU Votes, in which students can reserve a spot on the shuttle. The form to reserve a seat on the shuttle asks the student what the most optimal time to vote is for them in order to make sure the shuttle time works for the student. In this election, the amount of voters ages 18 to 29 grew by 600%.
Meanwhile, in-person on-campus tours continue amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, to the frustration of some students. I got to speak with HPU students to find out why. From a free t-shirt to information on how to apply, High Point University provides in-person campus tours to prospective students 7 days a week. Current HPU students are not allowed to bring guests onto campus due to the university's COVID-19 protocol, leaving many students angry.
I just don't understand why High Point is choosing to administer all of these campus tours, putting their students at risk, yet I can't even bring my best friend over for dinner, and that just increases the risk even more rather than just one person.
Now, on many college campuses, they give group walking tours, but here at High Point, they give tours on a golf cart. There's only one family per golf cart, and if the ambassador is driving up here with the guests on the 3rd and 4th row, they are following the CDC guidelines of that 6-foot requirement.
While on tour, we maintain 6 feet distance, we wear our face masks at all times, we go in and out of the correct enter and exit doors, we offer sanitizer and masks to all of our families, and we also clean the golf carts before and after each tour.
HPU continues to be one of the few colleges in North Carolina giving in-person campus tours. For Q News, I'm Drew Lohman. The university also plans to host 2 open house events this month.
Next up for Q News, North Carolina election results.
And updates on the increase of COVID-19 cases.
Opiates has taken everything and everyone I've ever loved away from me. Everything.
I blew my ankle out and I got prescribed pain pills by my doctor.
If making my detox public is gonna help somebody, I'm all for it. I just wish I would have had a warning.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
The 2020 U.S. election took place and votes are in. Roy Cooper has been reelected as governor for North Carolina, representing the Democratic Party. The Senate has yet to be officially elected as votes are still being counted. Republican candidate Tom Tillis is in the lead against Democratic candidate Cal Cunningham. However, the Associated Press has not called this race despite the lead.
COVID-19 cases are rising around the United States. There are reported 47 million positive cases globally, and cases continue to rise in some countries. While other countries have the virus under control, in North Carolina, the Department of Health and Human Services reported 2,349 new cases, making it the 12th highest total since the pandemic began. The state reported 67 coronavirus-related deaths, also making the number of fatalities the highest since the start of the pandemic.
Students at High Point University are having to adjust in many ways to the new COVID protocol, and seniors are no different. Gatherings are still prohibited, and it's very uncertain if a normal graduation will take place. Last year, the ceremony for the class of 2020 was held via Zoom amidst the pandemic. Students are in hope for a traditional in-person ceremony, but the final decision will be made in a few months regarding the ceremony for May of 2021.
Updated policies from HPU about social distancing leave students confused and questioning certain requirements, specifically rules regarding masks on campus.
are voicing their concerns with masks policies on campus. Where there are students who fully support these protocols, there are those who question the logic behind the rules.
I think it's ridiculous that we have to continue to wear these masks, especially when we walk into buildings and, you know, a couple feet and then we have to put it on, take it off when we're eating. I think it's kind of just really redundant.
A student jokes that once you sit down, you become immune to the virus. Everyone has their masks off. Regulations also raise student concerns about living spaces.
Especially if you are in a large gathering with a group of people that you constantly hang out with, it doesn't really make sense to wear that if you're always around them sharing the same spaces.
Despite those who question these safety measures, there are still many who support it.
I don't have a problem with masks. I think that they're just here for our safety, and I don't think it's a big deal to wear a mask in class and all those things, especially because they're just here to protect us.
Although there will always be counter views, we must work together to minimize the effects of this virus at HPU. David Kleinschuster, Q News.
Despite the mask confusion, students are still encouraged to continue keeping their distance and one another safe, while respecting HPU's policies.
Thanks for watching Q News. I'm Drew Lohman.
And I'm Alex Gibson. Q Sports is next. Have a good night.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up one finger if you're a man, women, 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
From the Nito Corbin School of Communication on the campus of High Point University, this is Q Sports Update.
Good afternoon. I'm Tanner White along with Alec Nava here to give you this week's Q Sports Update. HBU alumna and former women's volleyball player Jenna Wadner has been invited to Team USA's training camp in Park City, Utah to train for Winter Olympic events, bobsledding and skeleton. Wadner, who graduated this past spring, has never participated in either sport before. She's admitted that she's new to both sports, but is excited for this opportunity to try new things.
High Point University men's golf sophomore Adam Hooker secured a top 10 finish in the Lonnie Poole Amateur Tournament this past weekend in Raleigh. After the first 2 rounds, Hooker was tied for 16th place, 12 shots off the lead. He climbed his way up the leaderboard, shooting a 68 in his final round, and was able to tie for 8th place in the tournament. Hooker was able to end the event with the most birdies in the field. As soon as we think COVID is dwindling down in the NFL, the injuries are racking up. Jimmy Garoppolo is expected to miss an extended period of time due to a high ankle injury he suffered in Sunday's loss to Seattle. 49ers tight end George Kittle will also miss an extended period of time due to a small fracture in his foot. The Patriots' Julian Edelman is out for a few weeks due to his knee surgery he had last week. Jaguars fullback Bruce Miller is being suspended 6 games for PEDs. Panthers' Christian McCaffrey is still out with a high ankle sprain. And finally, the 7-0 Steelers defensive lineman Cam Hayward is dealing with a minor quad injury.
With their Week 8 28-24 win over the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers remain the only undefeated team in the NFL. They now match the 1978 team with the best start in their franchise history. With this win, Steelers coach Mike Tomlin is now the most winningest African-American head coach in NFL history. The Steelers hope to continue their winning streak, facing the injury-riddled Dallas Cowboys on Sunday.
Antonio Brown will play this weekend for Tampa Bay against New Orleans for the first time this season after serving his 8-game suspension for violations of the personal conduct policy. Buccaneers coach Bruce Arians said that Brown will have a limited role in his first game back, but it depends how the game goes.
We recently saw an entirely different playoff style for the NBA, and now it's possible that we might see a change in how the NFL conducts their playoffs. The league is planning to switch from a 12 to 14 team playoff this season, but the competition committee is now expected to pitch a 16 team playoff to the league owners. If game cancellations due to COVID causes the 16 team playoff to move forward, then the top 2 seeds in each conference would likely receive a bye, while the other teams facing off in wild card matchups.
Trevor Lawrence will miss Clemson's weekend game against Notre Dame, with DJ Uiagalelei set to make his second consecutive start. Lawrence, the top prospect in the 2021 NFL Draft, is in the final stages of clearing the ACC's COVID-19 protocols after testing positive. Uiagalelei, the top QB prospect in the 2020 recruiting class, threw for 341 yards and 2 touchdowns against Boston College last weekend in his first career start.
The NBA is still battling over their start date for the 2021 season. Wanting to start December 22nd, players are stating that they would like to start in January. The league's other issue is that they're not able to financially host games in a bubble setting. This past season, the league lost 10% of its revenue and cost the league $190 million. While the league may win against the players, this conversation throughout the next month will not end without a fight.
The Chicago White Sox and Detroit Tigers have hired their new managers, shocking the sports world. Hall of Fame coach Tony La Russa returns to Chicago on a multi-year deal. La Russa is the third winningest manager in MLB history. Detroit hired former Astros manager A.J. Hinch as their new manager after his suspension for a cheating scandal is now over. His deal is also a multi-year contract.
High Point University mourns the loss of former baseball coach Chuck Hartman, who passed away on November 2nd at the age of 85. Hartman served as head baseball coach for 19 seasons, finishing with a .483 and .225 record. He led the Panthers to 10 Conference Carolina championships, 2 area championships, and 5 District 26 championships, and still remains HPU's winningest coach. Hartman's number 1 jersey remains at Willard Stadium as one of only 2 jerseys retired by the program, and he will be greatly missed by every player and person that he impacted.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's Q Sports Update. I'm Alec Nava with Tanner White. We'll see you next week.